Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week of Wednesday Night Dash. My name is Hunter Hughes. I'll be calling for you today. Today we have the Short Track Madness presented by Stadium Scene TV at Richmond Raceway. Real quick, let's get into the track stats of Richmond Raceway. Richmond was opened in 1946. It's 0.759 miles long. There's 14 degrees of banking in the turns, 8 degrees on the front stretch, and 2 degrees on the back stretch. Richmond is known for having a very interesting line, which can make for some really good racing, but also is quite challenging for drivers to do. Session rules today: 40-minute practice, 2-lap qualification, 90 laps with a competition yellow at lap 45. Now, after last week at Rockingham, let's take a look at the standings so far. First off, we have Colton Gardner at 44 points. Then we have Fernando Takahashi at 35. And then we have Brian McKinney at 35. Jesse Fox at 33. Eric Richardson at 32. DJ Fluck at 31. Andrew Hewitt at 30. Ian Miller 29. Mark Willett at 28. Dylan Berenz at 27. And then from Tyler Vickery on down with 0. And we have a couple of new faces today. We have the debut of JM Motorsports, led by John Miles and the team of Jax Milan and Lane Snow. They should be making their appearances tonight. Now, I would say it was a really strong debut from Fernando Takahashi last week of WJ Mulfield Motorsports. He started P9 and finished P2. That was one heck of a drive. Now, despite a dominating performance from Colton Gardner at Rockingham, the new point system has kept the field close together with only 14 points, separating the first place through 7th place. Now, consistent finishes and bonus points could prove crucial. Real quick, before we get any farther, let's thank our friends at the House of Hockey podcast. On this week's House of Hockey, Breezy and Ray discuss news around the professional hockey leagues, including brutally honest reviews of the NHL All-Star jerseys, the Philadelphia Flyers trading their top prospects to the Ducks, and an update from the PWHL. Tune in at 5 p.m. Thursday for the House of Hockey right here on Stadium Scene TV. Let's take a quick look at the schedule as the drivers are about to go into qualifying. This week we're at Richmond. Then next week we're going to be at Talladega, the big super speedway, which is definitely going to be interesting, especially now that we're starting to get our numbers up. Talladega is going to be very exciting, so you definitely want to tune in next week for that. Then after that, we close out January at Bristol night. That's definitely going to be really fun. Then we start off February strong. We head to Phoenix. Then we go to then we go to the Charlotte Roval, which is going to be very fun. The Charlotte Roval is known to be very, very difficult, especially in these next-gen cars. I expect strong performances from a couple of our drivers. Then we go to Indianapolis Oval, which is going to be really fun too. Then we start off March at Texas, Dover, and then we close out the season at Kansas at night. Let's take a next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend is going to be the iRacing AFSP 200. The AFSP 200 is just a little over 2 weeks away. iRacing and WJ Mulfield Motorsports are teaming up to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention on January 27th. Sign up to race the NASCAR Next Gen cars at Michigan International Speedway and raise money for a great cause. A minimum $20 donation to the AFSP gets you into the race, and you are entered to win some amazing prizes, including the grand prize of an AX80 cockpit frame from our friends at Extreme Sim Racing. Now, if you're not interested in driving, that's okay. Tune in Saturday, January 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Apex Racing TV for the race, which will feature real-life ARCA Menard Series driver Stephanie Moyer, Legacy Motor Club teardown specialist TJ Peters, and other surprise celebrity guests that will be announced closer to race day. Make a donation as a viewer, and you'll be entered to win for a chance. Or you'll be entered for a chance to win an amazing prize. Learn more and sign up at frracingonline.com/AFSP200, and the spots are limited. Real quick before we get into the meat of this race, this weekend, myself and a handful of other drivers from Wednesday Night Dash and FR Racing are going to be participating in this year's iRacing Daytona 24. Tune in right here on Stadium Scene TV Saturday morning for the 24-hour live coverage of the iRacing Daytona 24. We will be entering multiple cars. We'll be entering one GTP or Grand Touring prototype, and one LMP2 or Le Mans prototype. The GTP drivers will be Colton Gardner, a driver of the number 40 in Wednesday Night Dash, Andrew Hewitt, driver of the number 22 in Wednesday Night Dash, and a couple new faces, behind closed doors driver Derek Booker, and then newcomers Jackson Wade and Jacob Manning. The LMP2 team will be including myself, Hunter Hughes, Ian Miller, driver of the number 48 in Wednesday Night Dash, Eric Richardson, driver of the number 13, Mark Vickers, driver of the number 84, and Tyler Vickery, driver of the number 24. Wall-to-wall coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on Stadium TV. But also, myself as well as a handful of the other drivers will be streaming from the in-car cameras. So check us out on our all of our platforms as well. Now it is time for the race to begin. Qualifying is just about to wrap up. As we can see, everybody's put in their times. We have 11 drivers here today, a handful of new faces. I said before, we have John Miles, Lane Snow, and Tyler Vickery making his return. Tyler Vickery wasn't here last week, but he was fighting. He was actually the champion of last season in the ARCA cars. So we'll see how he can tear up the next gen cars. There's only about 40 seconds left of qualifying time before we get into this thing. And I quickly just want to throw out there the Daytona 24. Let's just talk about this just a little more while we're waiting for qualifying to end. Last year, me, Andrew Hewitt, Mark Vickers, and Eric Richardson ran the Porsche GT3 car, and we ended up finishing 20th overall, and in class we ended up finishing 20th. So we're hoping to improve on that. We definitely have some really good, strong drivers this week or this year. So yeah, make sure you're tuning in. I'll be streaming. It's just FTW1 on Twitch, and I will also be streaming on YouTube. And then we'll be streaming Stadium Scene TV as well. Now we have Colton Gardner on the pole with Jesse Fox in P2. Then we have Fernando Takahashi in P3 and Tyler Vickery in P4. Then rolling off P5, we have Brian McKinney running a 23.6 and Dylan Behrens running a 23.7. In P7, we have John Miles running a 23.8 and DJ Fluck running a 23.884. Rounding out P9 is Lane Snow and then Mark Willett running a 24.2. And rounding out the field is Eric Richardson running a 24.2. But I feel like he will definitely improve on it. We're still waiting for these drivers to get ready to go. There's about a minute left on the race, and everybody is gridded up now. So the pace car is getting ready to roll off. There should be 2 laps here. Real quick, let's drag in as they start to roll off. Okay, I can be able to do this. There's too many people. Real quick. We're trying to get a Hey Colton Gardner, it's Hunter in the booth. You got a copy? Oh, I'm having issues hearing you, my friend. All right, well, unfortunately, I can't hear Colton, so we won't be able to get an interview, but if you can hear me, good luck today and have a good race. All right, well, unfortunately, we weren't able to hear the voice of Colton Gardner for a little pre-race interview, but that's okay because they are on the backstretch now. I expect a strong run from these drivers. Tyler Vickery rolling off P4 is going to be interesting. Tyler Vickery in a new paint scheme. He looks like he's running the Dude Wipes paint scheme. Looks very, very nice. But the eyes are on the pace car. The pace car pulls down. And they're under the control of Colton Gardner. And Colton Gardner gets a good launch. Is able to put a pretty good sized gap on the field already, but they're fanning out so far. There's a bit of a battle side by side between Tyler Vickery and Brian McKinney. They're still 2x2. They're also 2x2 for position 2. Fernando Takahashi and Jesse Fox get clear, and now Brian McKinney still trying to work on Tyler Vickery. Tyler Vickery falling back just a bit. Now we have the number 1 of Dylan Behrens trying to take advantage of that move. Looks like Tyler Vickery is able to get clear of Brian McKinney and is trying to work the high side on Jesse Fox. Tyler Vickery is unable to find a hole on the bottom line, and actually he gets into the wall just a bit there, and that's going to allow Brian McKinney to look to the inside once again, but Brian McKinney locks up his tires just a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but now he's going to be under threat by Dylan Behrens. Dylan Behrens is going to look to the inside. He's going to try to make a move as it looks like Jesse Fox is now way off the pace. Tyler Vickery looking underneath of Jesse Fox, and they're going to square their issues away now. Let's see if Jesse Fox can hang on to see if he can hang on to it. Tyler Vickery gets really loose, and there goes Dylan Behrens to the inside of the wall. Hard contact. He's able to keep it off the racing line. Actually, he's going to pull back onto the racing line, but he has some damage. He's going to probably fall all the way to the back of the pack, as well as Brian McKinney is back there as well. These two are still fighting, but now Dylan Behrens has a lot of damage on the front of his car. Let's take a closer look at that. See, his front left is cambered out a little bit where he hit that wall. Go back up to the front. Oh, as Madison Snow and Dylan Morenz get together, they make contact. Madison Snow is now all over the track. There is one heck of a battle for the last couple of spots. Madison Snow looks like he just drove it in way too deep and got to the inside of Dylan Morenz, but they were able to keep it straight. Nobody ended up wrecking. Probably not the debut that Lane Snow. Sorry, I've been saying Madison Snow the whole time. Madison Snow is a real life racing driver. We're talking about Lane Snow here. Apologies for that. But Lane Snow, not having the drive that he's been wanting to have. But these two up here, Brian McKinney and Dylan Morenz, having quite the battle. These two were just fighting for position 3 and 4, and now they're fighting for position 7 and 8. It seems like these Chevys are having a bit of issues with their with the drive off. Looking up front, Colton Garner is starting to set sail, but Fernando Takahashi is right there. He's not really closing the gap just yet, but he is still hanging out there. Running P3 is Tyler Vickery. Tyler Vickery is not afraid of the podium one bit. I think he's got about 2 championships in the league and multiple wins. So the podium is where Tyler Vickery is the most comfortable. Then we got Jesse Fox running in P4, having a strong run tonight. Then we have John Miles making his first start in that Toyota. He's just kind of driving right now, running P5, doing his thing. Then position 6 and position 7 is this battle between Brian McKinney and Dylan Morenz, still only about 0.2 apart from each other. Still just trying to figure each other out. Then looking back, we have DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson trying to team up together and make their way up towards the front. But then in position 10 and position 11, rounding out the field, we got Lane Snow and Mark Willett. As Lane Snow seems to be blinking just a bit, but it doesn't seem to be making too much of an issue. Looking back up here, these two are still fighting super hard. The battle for the race, the Mountain Dew paint scheme of Brian McKinney and the Hendrick cars of Dylan Morenz. Take a look at his paint scheme real quick. Yeah, it's Hendrick cars. We got. Let's take a ride on the inside of Dylan Morenz as he goes to make the move on Brian McKinney. Isn't going to be able to get clear just yet. Still hanging it outside, and Dylan Morenz is going to get clear of Brian McKinney, but is Brian McKinney going to be able to answer that? Brian McKinney is going to look to the top side. Isn't going to be able to make a move, and Dylan Morenz is going to get clear and is going to start to drive away from that 8 car of Brian McKinney. Doesn't look like he's driving away just yet. These two have the closest battle right now. on the racetrack. Excuse me. Looking back just a bit, the battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th. DJ Fluck running with Lane Snow and Mark Willett. Lane Snow was able to get past DJ Fluck. But, oh, Lane Snow up in the wall. Hard hit to the wall. Not sure what happened there. Is able to hang on to it, but had a massive hit to the wall. Let's take a look at that real quick. That was a hard hit to the wall. Don't know if he just got loose or what happened. Looks like he enters his corner. Maybe it just snaps loose on him. It just looks like he just washed up tight. But he keeps it going. As we go and try and get back up to live time, we got to battle Dylan Berens and John Miles. Dylan Berens is trying to scout out. Trying to scout out John Miles. Which Dylan Berens actually looks like he might be much quicker than John Miles. He's going to look to the outside now. Doesn't look like anybody can make any moves to the outside. It looks like you absolutely have to stay on that bottom line. As John Miles got a little bit loose there. But is able to keep it. He's able to keep it going. Now real quick, as we have 62 laps to go, we're going to take you guys on a quick little turn it up presented by Stadium Scene TV. As you see, Colton Garner making his way through the lapped field now. So there's Colton Garner is about 7.5 seconds through to Fernando Takahashi, which it looks like he's just trying to hang on at this point. Not really sure if he's going to be able to get to the lap traffic, but he sure is going to try. Now remember that the competition caution is at lap 45, so we're about 10 laps away from the competition yellow now. And it's going to be interesting because now there is a battle to fight for the lucky dog, as we see Mark Willett and DJ Fluck looking like they're trying to make a move on Eric Richardson. Eric Richardson may have had a small incident, may have gotten into the wall. He lost a lot of time, but the battle for lucky dog is now excuse me, is now between Lane Snow and Mark Willett as the battle for the lucky dog. Now Brian McKinney and John Miles. John Miles looks like he's closing the gap up on Brian McKinney, but it looks like everybody's tires are just dead right now. Looks like nobody's hitting their line where it needs to be. Yeah, Eric Richardson seems way off the pace. Both these drivers seem super far off the pace, as Fernando Takahashi is getting ready to lap these two cars. Or maybe not. Maybe he's not trying to push the issue. You know, maybe he's just going to let these drivers figure their own stuff out, and then, you know, actually, let's take a look at what's happening between Jesse Fox, Tyler Vickery, and Dylan Behrens. Dylan Behrens is hot in these closing laps. Dylan Behrens is going to look to try and make a move on Tyler Vickery, who has fallen to 4th place. Dylan Behrens is going to look to the inside. Is going to be able to make it work as Tyler Vickery gets way high and almost hits the wall. Looks like everybody is praying that this caution comes out soon. And Tyler Vickery actually does lick the wall just a bit. It's not going to be a huge deal, but it's still going to be enough. About 4 laps away now from the competition yellow. And these drivers cannot wait for it to come any faster. Brian McKinney running P6 is really trying to close that gap on Tyler Vickery. But Colton Garner is on an absolute island right now. 13, almost 14 seconds ahead of the rest of this field. And I think it's just an issue of, or I think it's just a deal of Colton Garner must have saved his tires. Like, he must have spent most of this first half saving his tires, and now that it's getting closer to the end of this first half, he was really putting the hammer down. New paint scheme from Colton Garner this week. He has Jiffy Lube as the primary sponsor, which is a really beautiful looking car. I really like that color. That kind of pinkish color really accents that white. I really like the look of this car. And it's nice seeing Colton Garner switch it up every now and then, as he still has the Firebrod and W Energy as like associate sponsors. But now let's see if John Miles right here can hold off Colton Garner. He's got about 1 lap to go. Actually, the caution should be coming out right now, and there it is. The yellow flag is out. Colton Gardner had a really good first stint, was able to just put his head down and get, actually put some cars a lap down, which is not something we see too often in Wednesday Night Dash, is cars going a lap down just on pace. Usually something will happen. Usually cars will go a lap down based on incident. But today we saw 4 cars go a lap down just based on pace. Now we're going to see here the pit stop cycle. We're going to see if Lane Snow, Mark Willett, DJ Fluck, and Eric Richardson, we're going to see if they take the wave around or if they are going to take the lucky dog. So Colton Gardner's on pit now, and he's got such a good advantage on the whole rest of the field. As we see, actually, it looks like Fernando Takahashi stayed out. Interesting call by Fernando Takahashi to stay out and not pit. Now, I'm not really sure what the point of this is, but that's interesting. As we look at the pits real quick, Colton Gardner makes his way off pit road. There goes Tyler Vickery, actually making up quite a few spots. Then Jesse Fox, and there comes Brian McKinney, and there comes John Miles. And that Fernando Takahashi's on pit road now. So maybe he missed pit entrance, but he's going to essentially be at the tail end of the line. As these drivers go ahead and make their way around. As we're looking, we can see him on pit road right there. Hopefully he doesn't lose a lap. It doesn't look like it. Looks like everybody's on the backstretch right now. But interesting call by Fernando. Don't really know why he missed pit road that first time around, because he would have pit as second place and would have exited as second place, but now he's going to pit as the leader. It looks like he's going to roll off the last car on the lead, the last car on the lead lap. Interesting move. So now let's take a look. Actually, it looks like Mark Willett and Eric Richardson are still 1 lap down. Looks like the 88 of DJ Fluck is on pit road now, and Tyler Vickery is on pit road again. Maybe Tyler Vickery's making one of his interesting pit calls that he always does, but Tyler Vickery is one of the drivers known to make very interesting pit strategies, to pit multiple times on a caution. Maybe he only got fuel the first time, or he only got tires or something like that. Maybe he messed up his pit stop the first time around. But as they cycle out, Colton Gardner's your leader. Jesse Fox is in second, or actually Dylan Berenz is in second place. Jesse Fox is in third place. Brian McKinney is in fourth place. Fernando Takahashi will restart fifth, actually, or fourth or fifth. No, yeah. So I can't really tell. It looks like they're kind of mixed up. It looks like their running order's pretty mixed up right now. Well, all I know is that Colton Gardner is leading, and the pace car is about to make the sharp left turn on to pit road. And we'll be back racing once again. There goes the pace car. Colton Gardner gets a really good jump, but actually looks like Brian McKinney got a really bad start and is going to fall back a handful of positions. But let's look back up front. Let's look from the far cam and see what's going on. So there's a battle happening between Jesse Fox and Dylan Berenz. Jesse Fox going to look to the inside. That's going to open up the door for Fernando Takahashi. I wonder how hard Fernando is going to push to try and get back to that second place spot. But really good start for Dylan Behrens, is able to get second place and is able to hang on to it for right now at least. Not sure what happened to Brian McKinney there, but he was able to recover pretty well. Tyler Vickery running 6th. He's able to slowly pick off these lap cars one at a time. Yeah, Eric Richardson and Mark Willett are both a lap down. Now look here, Dylan Behrens is not letting Colton Garner get away as fast as he did in the first half. Colton Garner's just trying to push super hard so he can build a bit of a gap, but Dylan Behrens running 2nd is not letting that gap be made. Still about 7/10 between your leader and position 2. In position 3 is Jesse Fox, trying to hold off the hard charging Fernando Takahashi. Only about 4/10 back. We have Brian McKinney running in 5th, was able to recover from that incident that he had on the restart. It looked like he just spun his tires a little bit, but he got out of line and was able to recover. Look back up here at these two. Don't know how aggressive Fernando is going to be to try and get past the 69 of Jesse Fox. Fernando's definitely starting to put the pressure on now. Looks like somebody scraped the wall just a tiny bit there. But now Tyler Vickery is trying to look to make a move on Brian McKinney. He's still about 6/10 out. Only about 3/10 now. Fernando closing the gap on Jesse Fox. The only question is how badly does he want to get past him? Next few laps, because you can remember that if you remember oh goody. You remember that these the tires on these cars really fall off very quickly. So you want to kind of be saving your tires. So maybe pushing super hard is not what you need to be doing, but you got to remember there's only 29 laps to go, which is not that much time for this race. Looking back one spot, Brian McKinney and Tyler Vickery are now starting to get into a battle. Tyler Vickery's putting the pressure on Brian McKinney. This is starting to put the pressure on Dylan Behrens. Maybe Dylan Behrens had a bit of a mistake. But now they're under a blanket right now. And all this is allowing to happen is Colton Garner's just starting to drive away from this battle now. Oh, Tyler Vickery gets a little loose as he exits turn 2. Looked like he was going to make a move there, but has to back out of it to save his car. And here he goes. Tyler Vickery's looking to the inside, is going to make the move, but has to back out of it so he didn't wash up and get into. Tyler Vickery is really driving the wheels off that car now. You can see him like getting all over the place. And he's going to fall to about maybe half a second back now. He needs to clear his head. It looks like he was driving angry there for a bit. Oh, and he's going to get into the wall and he's going to wreck. Tyler Vickery spins. Hopefully he can save it. Looks like he's just going to back it down into the grass and he's going to tow. It might be the end for Tyler Vickery and he's going to pull off the racetrack. Just drove the doors off of his car for too hard. But now there's a battle between Jesse Fox and Dylan Behrens. This is the battle for position 2. Both of these drivers want this spot so bad. Dylan Behrens making his debut season in our league. Jesse Fox, kind of his sophomore or junior year in the league. Don't know if I think Jesse Fox joined with us last season, but it may have been 2 seasons ago. I think it was last season. I think this is his sophomore season in our league. Running the Sunoco paint scheme, which definitely looks nice. I like that paint scheme too. A lot of good paint schemes this season. This battle rages on. Only about 0.3 of a second now as there's 17 laps to go. Jesse Fox just studying that number 1 car. Let's take a ride inside with him for a couple of laps. Now, as you notice, Jesse Fox seems to be rolling around this track in just 4th gear, which is interesting because you can shift, and a lot of people usually do shift. Like, you'll see people shifting in it to 5th gear down the straightaways and then downshifting into 4th gear in the corners. Jesse Fox is rolling around this track in just 4th gear. And that kind of seems to be what you have to do. Keep your car alive. Oh, Jesse Fox and Dylan Behrens trying to make their way around DJ Fluck, who wanted to have a better day today, I'm sure. As there's only about 13 13 or 12 laps to go. How long is too long to wait until you pounce on the opportunity to make a move for the position? Right now, Fernando Takahashi and Brian McKinney are kind of close together, about 8 or 9 tenths apart. Where the real battle's happening right now is between Lane Snow and John Miles for position 6 and position 7. These two Toyotas have been duking it out for a handful of laps now. I've been watching their gap get shorter and smaller. So let's see what they can do as this race slowly starts to wind down. As Lane Snow is actually... Oh, he gets very loose and is trying to hang on to it. He is fighting a very loose race car right now. Jesse Fox seems way off pace. Looks like he may have had an issue as well. About a second and a half. Fernando Takahashi and Brian McKinney. Brian McKinney's looking to the inside of Fernando Takahashi. Fernando goes way high and may lick the wall, but is going to let Brian McKinney go by. Good battle between these two in these closing laps. That seems like it's the same story with in the first half, you had the drivers pushing their cars too hard in the beginning of the race, or in the beginning of the stint, and that's allowing them to fall off immensely in these final closing laps. Colton Garner catching back up to the back of the pack might put a couple of drivers a lap down. What another beautiful run by Colton Garner, is able to keep his nose clean for the entire race once again. Same thing as last week. Surprised we didn't have a stronger showing out of a couple of our other drivers. I was expecting Brian McKinney, Tyler Vickery, Jesse Fox to be way stronger than they were tonight. Maybe they just burned up their stuff too early. I've always said that Colton Garner was always really good at saving his tires, especially in these next gen cars. The last time we ran a next gen season, which I believe was season 5? Season 5 or... yeah, season 5. I want to say it was season 5. But the last time, Colton Garner pretty much swept that season as well. Colton Garner is very strong in that Ford Mustang next gen car. As there is only 3 laps to go now, all Colton Garner has to do is just keep that thing straight. As Lane Snow is going to let Colton Garner by. Colton Garner, your last season champion last season runner-up in the ARCA Menards series. He's going to come around and get the white flag. One more lap to go here, presented by Stadium Scene TV. As Colton Garner makes his way around the final turn, Colton Garner is going to win here at Michigan. Super good run by Colton Gardner. Then we have Dylan Behrens having a good position 2 run today. Then we have Jesse Fox, position number 3. And we have Brian McKinney making a good, strong run, position number 4. Then we have Fernando Takahashi, position number 6. And we have John Miles making his debut, John Miles, position number 6 in his debut race. Then we have Eric Richardson, position 7. Then we have Lane Snow, position 8. DJ Fluck, position 9. Mark Willett, position 10. And Tyler Vickery rounding out the field in position number 11. A really good race today. We had a lot of good battles. Surprising amount of really strong battles. But that's the kind of racing you can expect here at Wednesday Night Dash, week in and week out. As we're getting ready for some driver interviews, I'll drag some people in here real quick. It's Jesse Fox, Dylan Behrens, and Colton Gardner. Let me get them dragged in here real quick. I don't know who just left. Oh, it was Dylan left. Drag him back in. Alrighty. Starting off interviews tonight, we have the number 69 of Jesse Fox. You got that podium spot. You had a really good run tonight. Tell me about your day. All right, let me...
I think something's off on the settings.
Oh, yeah, wait. Sorry, I had my headphone set to the wrong output. Could you please repeat yourself?
You got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I am tired. That takes a lot of focus, and man, I wanted second so bad, but I think I was just being greedy. Dylan did a great job. I pushed so hard, I just couldn't get him there at the end.
Yeah, it definitely was exciting. You two were fighting hard for pretty much that entire second half. You had a really good, strong run. Good job tonight.
I appreciate it. I figure if I'm gonna have a chance to beat any of these guys, they got to be at tracks that we're gonna struggle at. So I've got to be better at those. That's the only way I'm gonna beat these guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have for you. You have a good rest of your night.
You too. Thanks.
Dylan Behrens, driving the number 1 car, comes home second tonight. Tell me about your night.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Colin and Jesse for racing clean. We had some great battles throughout the whole night. The number 1 car was really fast. I screwed myself up at the beginning, but fought back and showed that we have some speed after what happened last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. You had a bit of an incident in the first half. I saw you got really loose there, but you were able to have a good pit stop, and you were able to come back in the second half to get a podium spot and a silver medal. So good job tonight.
Yes, and thank you to Colin for the advice beforehand. Really appreciated.
All right, well, that should be all I have for you tonight. You have a good rest of your night.
Thanks, sir.
And now Colton Gardner, 2 for 2 on the season so far. Colton Gardner, tell me about your night.
It was a long one. Like Jesse said, it was quite exhausting. But we all got through it. Everybody did a really good job tonight. The car always trended tight going into the corner, and it was really, really loose off most of the time. But it just was, a lot about car control, taking care of your tires and everything. And I was fortunate to be up front and had the clean air. Just props to Dylan, Jesse, everybody. That was a really good race. I don't think there was many incidents at all. It's something I like to see from everybody. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars getting loose and getting tight, but there was only really one super bad incident. It was just a lot of little tiny mistakes that the drivers, for the most part, were able to gather it back up and keep going. So, which is always what we like to see here at Wednesday Night Dash. But Colton, next week we have Talladega, which is going to be really fun. I know you and a lot of our drivers are pretty good at super speedway racing. Are you confident going into Talladega next week?
Every race that I've had in this league at Dega, I've ended up crashed and not really in the picture. Only plate race I've really had a shot in was Daytona at the start of the last season. But hopefully we can keep it clean next week. I love Talladega, and I really, really want to win a plate race in this league. I love plate racing. I always have. So hopefully we can all keep it clean next week and really, really race hard as well. But put on a good show for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's gonna be all I have for you tonight as well. So enjoy the rest of your night.
If I could, I want to thank Jiffy Lube for coming on board this week. It's really cool to be able to have them on the car this week. And thank you to French Broad, Carolina Legion, Castle Garen Creations, good clean humor and inspiration, Dubby, Moser Racing, and it's really cool to be able to put all of them in Victory Lane again. Thank y'all for everything.
Thank you. And was Colton Gardner, your winner here tonight. All right, that is all I have for you guys right now. Remember, this weekend is the iRacing Daytona 24. Make sure you check back in that 7:30 a.m. right here on Stadium Scene TV. Well, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Tune in next week, same time, same place, and I'll see you all later. Bye.